And we're back 2 in 1 night. We're gonna go for three. We're gonna go for three tonight. We'll see how long I talk. Might just be two. But welcome back, everyone. As you can see by the title, this episode is all about my biggest launch ever in dermatology. That's actually the name of Jasmine Star's biggest business coaching to date. She is she's formerly a law school dropout from UCLA, and she dropped out and decided to chase her dreams, which was becoming a photographer, even though she didn't have a camera. Her husband supported that dream, helped her make that purchase. She became world known as the best wedding photographer. And then people just kept asking her, hey, how are you booking clients? This is before social media, really, the social media we know today. So they're like, how are you booking clients through email? And so she created a PDF with kind of her suggestions and templates and links for $19.99. Made $100,000 that year, and decided that she was really good at this thing, talking about business and social media. And so she's been in that space ever since, making $23 million since that story. And so she has been all over the social media. She has created several resources for us to be successful in starting our businesses, growing them, and then scaling them when that time comes. So today I signed up for her latest business coaching. So this is 2025. It's going to be from February to April, and I'm going to tell you all about it every week that I come on. The link to that is below. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Kimberly Madison, a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner, and I specialize in dermatology education, nursing, and research through the Mahogany Dermatology Nursing Research Education Company. We're building that. We're sharing that with you. Part of my team is Jade. She is the Mahogany Telederm Nurse Intern for 2025. At the time that you're watching this, she's made her debut on the Mahogany Dermatology blog. I invite you to go read her story and let us know your questions. We'll be sharing our monthly reflections throughout the year so that we can help all of our other entrepreneur friends where time and capital are limited to get the help that you need. While you have limited time and capital, there's people out here looking for experience, but no one will hire them. Well, my friends, that just sounds like a wonderful opportunity to partner together. That's exactly what we did last week when I told those of you looking for your first job, preceptorship, shadowing, how to offer your help to position yourself to be more valuable for that business owner in practice. So go back there if you haven't watched it. These videos that I've been doing for over a year now on YouTube, that I go live, so most of these videos are in the live tab, I'm answering your questions. It started off as me sharing my journey, but now I'm answering your questions. And that was one of the questions that people have every single day in Facebook, particularly, and also in LinkedIn. And so I thought I would help you all out by giving you a strategy to get that job, to be the most competitive person showing up, asking for something, is offer yourself up. And when you do that, I'm hoping that you can have a bigger perspective on what it means to be valuable. In addition to this video, which is my Nurse Entrepreneur series, we have a whole playlist titled How to Get Your First Job in Dermatology. I've talked about the best place to start is at the hospital or the clinic, how to make that transition from bedside to dermatology, a step-by-step guide for nurses, and the Dermatology NP Starter Kit, which are not only the titles of those videos, but also the name of some ebooks that you can purchase right now in the Mahogany Dermatology shop, how to use AI to get your first job, and all the different ways you can specialize in dermatology, which I have shared with you for the last over a year, 1 year on YouTube, 2 years on social media, 2 years on the blog. And actually, at the time that you're watching this, the time that I'm filming this, I have posted 96 articles on the blog. That includes Jade's article. So we'll have hit 100 by the time February's over. Right? I think so. So we're almost there, and we'll do something special for that. But today, I just want to thank you because I've hit over 100 subscribers right here on YouTube. And at the time that I'm filming this, over 5,500 of you have watched my videos. And so to thank you, I'm going to give you some social media tips. One, someone today asked me how, there were some people that I met today, they were all sharing how they met me, some through YouTube, social media. And so we talked about the algorithm, and they were saying, that I knew how to work the algorithm, and that's true. So one way you can link your content so that the people that you're trying to get can find you are tags. So below in YouTube, there's a section on tags. I maximize that thing. So all the keywords that I think you might be searching for so that I can show up in your feed, I'm putting them there, right? Nurse entrepreneur, nurse practitioner, dermatology, all the things I talk about every week, the DMP Dermatology and PPA group, our Derm and Ps of Atlanta, uh, wellness, spirituality. Today we're going to talk about Jasmine Star, Gary V. They're all down there. And then I link back to content I've already made. I just told you all the names of all the videos I've already made. Those are in the description box too. That's how the algorithm picks you up. I name other people who watch other people's content who are likely to watch my content too. I make sure to shout them out so that I can get your attention through the algorithm. And then there's so many tools out here solely to support content creators. One of them is called vidIQ. So VID, short for video, IQ. You download that widget. I use the free one. There is a paid version. There's a paid version for everything, but it helps me pick out SEO titles, so that's search engine optimization, so that the title I put in the description box is more likely to be something you're searching. It helps me. It can give you ideas. It can give you a score for that video, and it gives you a whole breakdown of analytics on your channel and other people's channel. When I go to their channel, it shows me how well that video is performing. And they have their own YouTube channel, and they give away a lot of information for free. And then Gary Vee, so he's a serial entrepreneur. He gives out a lot of content. He's written several books, huge following. And one of the things that he talks about a lot is social media and the trends. So he's saying the next biggest thing in social media is live, like we're doing right now, selling, right? Coming on live, selling your thing right here with the people. And so, it's coming, folks. And anyway, he's also a tip. That's somewhere else you can go and learn a lot of information, not only from his content, but also from his publications. He's just a regular guy helping people do extraordinary things. And so if you're new here, we have a main topic like today. We're going to talk about the biggest launch ever, my biggest business coaching experience ever, and how that's going to help you, how I'm going to help you with your derm dreams. But we always start off with health and wellness because I believe that if you're in the business of helping others, then you should be in the business of helping yourself. And that includes health and wellness. And so I share my own health and wellness journey. So part of that is social media and managing that, right? And so to avoid burnout with social media, I always tell you to do batch content. That's what I'm doing today. This is my second video. Maybe we'll get out 3, but it can just save you so much time. So there's that. And then I told you in the last video that I joined a church and that, obviously nothing's changed in terms of my physical health since the last video. So there's no updates there. But next time you see me in 2 videos, then I will have some updates for you. But we're going to read our devotional to cover our spirituality section. So because Jesus has been good news for us, we are called to become good news for others, even in political conversations, even with people we disagree with, even with people we don't particularly like. When we remember to keep the main thing, it changes how we do everything. When we both believe and become good news, we can't help but be different. Why? Because we know that no matter who sits in government leadership, our God is still king. If you will pray with me, God, help me to keep the main thing. Remind me how good you are. Help me to follow the example of Jesus and become good news for others in the same way that he has been good news for me. Amen. And so I invite you to watch last week's episode where we talked about those of you trying to get your first job, preceptorship, or shadow opportunity in dermatology, and how you can offer up yourself in exchange, right? And so I know there's a big thing right now. It's been a big thing about students, having to pay for preceptors, and I get it. And I went on social media last week telling you all about, look, when you see people are willing to pay for your time and expertise, then it should send a bigger message to you that you're worth asking for it. And when you go to the negotiation table, you're not just negotiating for us. And you say, oh, well, I'm willing to take this lower salary, this lower pay, because it's getting my foot in the door, right? Or I'm willing to take this pay despite the fact that I have gotten all this education. When you do that, you're setting that bar for all of us, right? So keep that in mind. And so I think that nurse practitioners deserve to be compensated for our expertise, our time, and our talent because it took money to get here. Okay, I'm not going to go on my soapbox, but speaking of preceptors and paying, we are so happy to share that Dermatology and Pays of Atlanta has a new partnership with NP Hub. Now, we've been partnered with NP Hub in the DMV Dermatology and PPA group, and now we extend that to our friends down in Atlanta. Those links are below. You can go to NP Hub and you can see how you can sign up. Actually, I need to update the description box so that you can go over there and be a preceptor. Sign up and get paid. When you go over there, students will find you. You know, people really want to get into dermatology. Students pay for things all the time. All the time. Why can't they pay for your time? You're spending the whole day seeing clients, patients, and doing admin. And you don't even have time to do that. And so then you ask someone to get quality training through preceptorship. Like I said, I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but I shared you last week. You know, we talk about this entrepreneurship thing all the time, and it's in the paper. You know, I'm here in Texas now, and it says that Texas is ranks amongst the top states for entrepreneurs. I haven't read it yet, so maybe next time you see me, well, not tonight, so maybe 2 weeks from now, I'll be able to tell you what it said about why Texas is one of those states. I wonder if it has something to do with the taxes, but also there's a doctor in here whose name, image, and likeness is being monetized. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I invite you to go back and see that video so that you can learn how you can optimize that information to get your job, preceptorship, or shadow opportunity. I should have checked my lipstick before I came on. So let's jump into it. So I told you about Jasmine Star. Oh, you know what I want to do, because I had to make a hard stop on the last video. Listen, let me do my updates real quick, and then we'll jump into Jasmine Star. So at the time that you're watching this, Jade has made her debut on the Mahogany Dermatology blog. She's a Mahogany Telederm nurse intern for 2025. And so she's sharing her journey. We will be doing monthly reflections because we're presenting our experience as a case study so that all of our entrepreneur friends can get a team on board, and people who want experience can get the experience they want. And it works out mutually beneficial for both people. And then at the end of the year, we'll have 12 months of content that either one of us can repurpose for whatever we want. And so that's a tip that you can do too when you're setting up your internship. And I've talked about what Jade had to do to apply to get accepted. So you can go back and see that video as well. And then I started a 3-part series on aesthetics and skin of color. That should be tomorrow. That should be up tomorrow. That will round us out, and we'll be talking about Fitzpatrick skin typing, the history, the biases, and what it really means when we talk about skin of color. Stay tuned. We will soon start having a few more in-person meetings in Houston, quarterly meetings. Next one, we're aiming for April, May. We're looking at our calendar now to put that together. As soon as we know, we'll be blasting it all over the place. We're looking for some intimate settings. You know, our physician colleagues do this all the time for med students, and I just imagine when I was a student how much I would have appreciated that. And so if we can create that atmosphere for our students and our entrepreneurs out here, that's what we're looking to do. So we'll keep you posted. I want to give you an update on my DMP students, because so many of you are in programs where you don't even have a choice. If you want to become an MP, you have to automatically do the DMP program. So on the Melanin Initiative today, I interviewed Neka, who is a master's student at Johns Hopkins University. And she's also a graduate of Georgetown and Cornell. She has a wonderful interview. I can't wait for you all to hear it. But we were talking about her program because she's doing something a little bit unique. Instead of doing her clinical hours, so it's a master's entry program. She'll come out with her RN. And so instead of doing all her hours in the hospital inpatient setting, which is where most people do it, right, at that level, when you go to the university, she's in the community. And so she already voiced that she wants to go on and get her doctorate, and she was very specific about the DMP. Now, because of the research she's already done, she has a background in data science and global health, and the way that she approaches problems and thinks about things. To me, I thought she was a great candidate for the PhD. And so the way she was thinking, and we're having this conversation on LinkedIn right now, that a lot of DMP students are really confused, because when you go for the DMP degree, they think they're going to be generating new knowledge, creating things on their own, from everything from the education to the tools. You're not doing that. That's what PhD nurses do. They create brand new things, generate brand new knowledge. And so a lot of students get confused about that, and we spend a lot of time explaining that. So that's one thing that we cleared up. The second is not all DNP graduates are nurse practitioners. And if you want to be a nurse practitioner, you can be either a PhD or in DNP. Even I was told that information, that it's, if you want to see patients, you should get DNP. You can get your NP, which is a master's degree, for most schools. And then if you choose to go and you want to have your PhD, then you just go get your PhD. You can still see patients. You can still conduct research where you're generating new knowledge and teach. You can do all the things, because the PhD is the oldest degree, and traditionally those nurses were teaching. It's been this thing like, yeah, in academia, they only want PhD nurses because they can bring in grants and money to the school, because I told you school's a business. I've told you this. And so that push has always been like, well, we do research and they do clinic, and there are benefits to that. And I'm not going to spend this video talking about that, but for those of you who are out there and you don't know, you can still see patients, you can still get your DNP or your PhD in either route. You can do both things. It's just how you conduct that research that makes a difference. So anyway, my DNP student, I do have one at Hopkins actually, and at a world-renowned facility, and that's giving us access to inpatient derm problems, which I cannot wait to identify and find solutions and strategies for it. I think it's just a phenomenal opportunity, and everything's going so well over there, and I'm just so proud of him. Can't wait for that research to be released. And then there's a local student here, doing one of my favorite projects, being out in the community and making so much progress over there. Her language is changing, the way she talks about the literature. So shout out to her. These are just examples of different DNP projects you can do. There's another young lady out in Florida. She wants to do hers on policy. She's going to keep me updated. I can't wait to hear how that goes. And then we'll be able to share that with you. There'll be at least 50 ideas in my upcoming Dermatology DNP project ideas book that you'll be able to purchase. And I mean, it has so many ideas. Even I didn't know I was going to find that many things when I thought about coming up with the book. And so it just goes to show you all the different ways you can specialize in dermatology, how you can implement interventions, and all the different touch points in our community where you can interact with patients and just increase that awareness. And then, And then we have now I can't even remember. When I do these back-to-back videos, I can never remember if I already said something for this video or not. But I think I already talked to you about our new partnership with NP Hub. So shout out to Dr. Joseph De Vieira. He's a CNO, or Chief Nursing Officer at NP Hub. He does have his DNP. He's done extensive education, even at Harvard, and he's established this partnership. And so that's wonderful. And then, we talk about entrepreneurship. This is the Nurse Practitioner Entrepreneur Series. Good friend of mine, Dr. Farah Laurent, a DNP nurse. She's not an NP. She started off in emergency medicine, went over to academia. She was assistant dean at a school before she got fired. She's very transparent about that. But in getting fired, it gave her the free time to work on her business. And so one of the questions I asked the guests on the Melanin Initiative podcast is, what's the best thing that never happened to you? And for Farah, I think it's getting fired, because she's been able to do so much. And so right now she's planning her first conference, which she just came up with in December. It's planned for Saturday, March 8th in Tampa, Florida, on International Women's Day. It's the Nurses Making Money Moves Conference. And so in preparation for that, she's hosting a free webinar on February 8th at 4 p.m. Eastern called Nurses Making Money Moves, Glow Up Your Brand. The link is below to sign up for that. And we're gonna look at that too. Actually, I met her through a new friend of mine on LinkedIn. All these relationships, all these opportunities come from my presence on media. Claudia Garcia. I'll be on her podcast on February 20th. And just really delightful. I have a lot coming up with Claudia, and so I cannot wait to share that with you, what we're going to be doing there. But let me share my screen because I want to show you. Why does it have all these? Okay. I want to show you what Farah came up with. Yeah. So this is Farah. Look, she created, I pitched this idea to her today to do this webinar, and with less than 12 hours, she came up with this. I'm just going to check my feed. Make sure you're not looking at a black screen like the last time. Okay, great. Oh, that's so funny. when I saw the view, I didn't even realize that was me watching myself. Anyway, so look at this. She's taking up the whole screen. I talked to you last time. Profile is not landscape. Look how long it takes me to scroll, and I'm still looking at her face. She's looking at the camera. The lighting is wonderful, complimentary. She didn't have to remove the background because she's taking up the screen, right? Look at that. We love this. Nurses Making Money Moves, grow up your brand. Look how simple this is, but it gets to the point, right? Bullet points. It helps draw your attention. What do you need to know? When do you need to know it? What do you need to do? Get your email. This is called a lead, okay? A lead is how you attract your client so that you can make your offer. If you never get in touch with them, you can never make an offer, which is making a sale. To sign up for something you sell or do, a service or a good. So what you want is you give away something for free and you get their email. Once you have their email and their phone number is the big thing now because of all the things that do happen with email. It's the phone number, right? People are checking their phone all the time. We're addicted. Now you can continue to send marketing. Every time someone encounters you, I think they have to encounter you 11 times before they can have that know, like, trust factor, something like that. It's like the beginning of that. And so through your content, through emails, through text messages, they say people typically will follow you for 2 years before they do anything. Some of you are examples of that. Some of the people I'm hearing from, so they've been watching me for 2 years, which I can't believe. So even though there's not a lot of comments, you might not have a lot of subscribers, it still takes you places. And the thing is, it doesn't even matter. If you write a book and you don't sell it, you say you can talk about it. You've done it. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you have 10,000 views or followers. All that matters is when someone Googles you, they can see that. They see that you have a page. They see that you exist. That's really all that matters. Don't get distracted by the other stuff. And then look how she's doing this. MailChimp. If you're not familiar with Mail, I don't know if you can see. Oh, I think I might be blocking it. Yeah. My face is blocking it, but this is MailChimp. They have a bunch of services. I want you to go check that out. That's your homework. And then let's stop sharing. Hopefully that went better than last week. So that's her. So she's putting that together. So that's her lead. She's going to give away something for free. In that, she's going to talk about so the conference is the part that she's going to be doing is talking about branding, right? That's one of the things she does. She also consults new nurses, new grads to get their dream job, which is typically where she focuses, like ICU and ED. And so I've been telling her, focus on that. Do that in the webinar. Give people a glimpse of what it's like to experience your services. In that, talk about the book you've already written. In entrepreneurship, we can have shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, I have this conference. Let me just talk about the conference, right? Even I'm guilty of this. But you've already written a book. You already have services that you do. You already have testimonials and clients. That's what led you to the conference. So let's keep talking about that, because if someone doesn't pay for the conference, but you can still sell them a book, you can still sign them up to be your client, you can still talk about your new book, sell your new book, talk about early bird tickets for the next one, right? So we're already thinking about next year. So in this free webinar, that's what she's going to focus on. And at the end, she's going to make her offer, right? So I want you to sign up. I want you to go watch and just study all these different points that I'm talking about. And when she makes her offer, listen to the language, how she makes it, and then continue to follow her. See how she continues to drive home that sale. So we'll leave it at that for now. But shout out to her for executing. I'm really impressed. And yeah, and down in the link, I have the link to the DNA Focus. It's their member newsletter. You can be in there. If you want to collaborate, let me know. What's the topic? Let's get on it. Anyway, I am the featured article for that on the importance of why nurse practitioners need to learn about skin of color and gender-affirming care and aesthetics. Shout out to DNA for that opportunity. I told you my goal is to be in every edition this year, so I'm going to be submitting my next article. Actually, by the time you're watching this, I've already done it. And then the conferences, everybody asked me where I'm going to be. So Diversity in Dermatology in March, the 27th to the 30th in Louisville, Kentucky. Link is below. Jade will be there, so you can meet her in person too. Ask her how this experience is going. In May, I'll be at SDNP in Indian Wells. I already registered, and I signed up for one of the workshops. I want you to tell me, which workshop did I sign up for? You're only going to know if you go visit the website what the options are. In June, SDPA. which is the Society of Dermatology Physician Assistants, will be in DC. Of course, we're going to be there. The DB Dermatology MPPA group, of course, we're going to show up. If you're coming to DC and you're talking about how to paint a door, we're coming, okay? This is our way of supporting that area and showing that we are worthy contendant when you're putting together these conferences. So I'm so excited. I can't wait for the group to come out there. We're going to try to get a referral code, so we can get that group benefit. That's the benefit of being in community. In July, I'll be in Utah with Elevate Derm. In August, Learn Skin will be out there in Tucson. And then, of course, I'll be in Oakland in October for DMPs of Color. And let's get into the biggest launch ever. So I've been following Jasmine since the summer. She does a couple things. First thing I want to show you, which is, so I talked about tiers last week, different price points that you can convert your client, right? The first time they might only be interested in buying an ebook from you, right? The next level, maybe they want to participate in a 5-day coaching session. So the ebook's $19.99, 5-day coaching, $97. At the end of the 5-day coaching, as you get close to the end of the week, just like as far gets close to the end of that 1-hour webinar, they're going to make you an offer, right? It's now that you've seen what I can do with this little information, right? Because there's no way you can learn everything in 5 days. Now here's another opportunity to work with me even closer. So instead of the group setting, maybe we're in a more intimate, smaller community. Maybe you get one-on-one, maybe you get VIP. Whatever it is, it's a chance to continue that relationship and get more of what they're offering. And Jasmine's really good because she does 2 things that she focuses on: creating an irresistible offer and repeatable revenue. That's her thing. And so what I want to show you, kind of the first thing that she has out there that you might be interested in. So I think if you've never done coaching, the 97, everyone, I think this, I can safely say pretty much everyone does $97 for 5 days. It's 1 hour a week. They're entrepreneurs, so they're creating the life they want. They're typically in the daytime, and to their point, that's a fair argument. They say, look, if you really want this, you're going to rearrange your schedule. It's tough if you're a clinician. And I can't wait to share with you how I figure it out, because it's going to be, my sessions will be twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. I typically stop rounding around 10 or 11. And so it's going to force me to finish sooner. And I might be watching a lot of them in the car, not driving. I might just sit there when I'm done rounding and watch it. We'll see. But I think it's going to motivate me to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. And I think my nurses will be happy to start and finish rounding sooner too. So we'll see. Maybe it'll help me start a new habit. But I want to show you Social Curator. That is something that she has started, and I want to show you the example of what kind of company that is, because she's creating a SaaS company. And so I'm not a pro at the SaaS company. I've heard her mention a few times, so I started looking it up. But we'll be learning more. And so let me give you an update on this whole share your screen thing. So first of all, if you don't know, I'm doing batch content. I do it live. So this is under the live feature. When you go live, you have 3 choices. You can go public. Public is what I'm doing. So you can be right here with me. You can do private, so you can't see me. And then you can do unlisted. And so if you have gone to MP school, for instance, and let's say it's a distance program, and you need to prove that you can do a health assessment, they might say, okay, film a video on YouTube, make it unlisted, and then only the people who have the link can actually see the video. And so typically you send it to your professor, and then they can see that you know how to conduct the physical examination, and then you can delete it later when you want. And I think the same is with private. If it's private and you give the link, someone can watch it. But so if you don't like being public, you can film live and just use unlisted or private, and no one can see you. I like it. It's something I kind of started, and I like having you all here and being able to interact. I like that feature. And like I told you, Gary Vee says that's the future. So might as well get used to it. And it promotes more engagement, and it's easier. That's another way to avoid social media burnout. Because once I'm done, before I did batch content, I hit end and that's it. It's up. I don't have to go back and do other things because I've already done everything. So before I come live, I put the title in, the caption, the tags, the thumbnail, all that. And so all I have to do is sign off. And then I just go schedule it on all the other places that I like to market, which is email and social media. And so this share your screen feature. So just like when you're on Zoom or Google Meet, there's this little arrow, you hit share your screen. What I was doing before was hitting the tab because I didn't want you to see on my screen. But when I would click and it would open up other windows, it would be black on screen. And so that's why those videos look like that. But if you use the window feature, it's going to show the window that you're looking at. And then there's also entire screen, which I haven't used. And I'm looking at myself on my phone, so I think we're okay this time. But yeah, I just share with you in real time. So let's go to social curator. So this is one thing that she has mastered, which is social media. And so many of you, okay, this is how it goes. You don't care about the social media. You have delegated it to someone in your family who also doesn't know. They make a lot of videos, but that doesn't mean they've studied marketing or branding. Or you're just going on word of mouth, which social media is word of mouth. So anyway, she has social curator. It's like I said, it has social media marketing in your pocket. We're not going to talk about her features. We're going to talk about her business. So I love this. And I think, let's see, I want to see how this is. Yep. Okay, great. This is how her other website is too. So this is a one pager, right? So you can create this is a landing page, right? On it. So I say, oh, look, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this biggest launch ever. Go to my website. So this is the landing page. This is where you're going to first encounter the person. And it's a one page. Oh, she did have it open up. But look at this, right? It's simple. And when you go to Canva, you can set up your brand in terms of the color, the font. Yeah, and you can actually do this on Canva. And so, she has her, you can see her there. And she just gets right to it, like telling you why you're here, what you're going to get out of it. I can't wait to show you So Dottie is like an AI tool kind of that she created. I think that's part of her SaaS company. But yeah, look at this. Look how simple it is. Simple text, right? Don't overdo it. And graphics. Graphics are super important. What are you selling? What am I going to get? People want to see that. They want to see that. Same thing over at Etsy. So if you go to the Dermatology shop, I always show glimpses of what's inside the book. You show a little bit, but not too much, right? Just enough so people can see what they're purchasing. Look, testimonials. You always want to, it's just like Google reviews. Your business doesn't mean anything if you don't have Google reviews. And in the world of telehealth practices, most people who have a telehealth practice have a virtual address, but Google ranks brick and mortar. So if you can just get it at, and not PO boxes, right? If you can just get and not your home, because it's public, not your home address. So shout out to, I don't know if I want to say her name. Let me not say that. There's an NP out there who has her own pediatric practice, and she's been so kind enough to let people, if they, for a fee, use her same address. And so that's one way you can do it. That's one way you can leverage, someone else out here. So obviously you're paying them, but if you don't have capital to pay them, maybe there's something else you can offer them, and then you can get that physical address. So when people Google they'll still see you, and then they'll see those Google reviews. And then you always want to share your testimonials because people believe other people, right? Same thing with Amazon. And so she has some video there. I would really love to see this lady here video. But even if you're going to you can do your testimonials on your video, on your social media feed, but show someone talking back, right? We want to see that. So look, these are your options, right? I promise you. Let me look at this. Let's do the math on. Some of you probably already did the math. So look, it's $5.99 if you just pay annually, right? Where if you pay monthly, it's $7.08. So you're incentivized to pay annually, because if it's monthly, there's 11 other options for people to stop their subscription, right? But if you do the annual fee and you put in some kind of refund policy, you get that money in one sweep. And we're seeing this with NPs who have their clinical practice. It's the same. This is your subscription model. That's what I was talking about in the last video, that you can offer that provider or practice, how can help them identify a subscription model so that they can get more revenue to their business. And so what's inside? So I think this is brilliant. And so look, this is the same thing all you guys are struggling with. NP entrepreneurs who have your business, you're working full time, you're running your business, you're running your life, your family. And so you need help. And so this is where she comes in. And so this lady here, Dottie, who they've created, helps you. She's your digital social media manager, marketing, and copywriter. Those are the words because the words matter. When people go to Google and YouTube and Pinterest, I mention those because those are all search engines, right? Not just Google. People come to YouTube to ask questions. How do I? What is? Same thing with Pinterest. I know Pinterest gets a lot of attention as like, like a board. I mean, which it is, but it's actually a search engine. And I learned that. I told you last week about ConvertKit. So ConvertKit, they have their own podcast and they talk about all these things. The stuff that's boring, but it's the stuff that really matters, right? So email, how do you make sure your email that you just spent all your time making so pretty to sell your product that you spent all that time creating, how do you tell people about it in your email, right? And so how do you make sure that doesn't go to the spam folder? That's a big deal. And so when you do send stuff, make sure you always put your own email there so you can be on the receiving end to do some quality improvement. Make sure it looks good. And so they can help you with that. They'll teach you about marketing. They'll teach you about copyright. And so the text matters. It's going to show up when people go search you. And so you want to make sure you're using all those keywords. And another tip for you, just to thank you for those 100 subscribers. And for those of you who continue to reach out, look up Google Trends. That's a place where you can see what's trending. That can drive your social media content. That can drive the services and goods that you're offering. So anyway, this is Dottie, who I don't know a lot about yet, but I will because part of the $2,000 that I paid for this program, I get access to Dottie. Anyway, it's this all-in-one platform for everything. So this is the thing. So once you're out here and you talk to business owners, and myself, my own experience is like, there's so many platforms and everybody wants you to pay for different things, right? So like right now, I'm trying to, you can go to the Mahogany Dermatology shop. You can see I have my Etsy shop and I have clothing in there now, right? Well, that clothing comes from a website called Printful. So Printful only does the clothing. It's drop shipping. So I don't have to have a warehouse and go pick out clothes and keep them in my home. So you go make a purchase. Printful will put my logo on it, the design that I've already put in place, and they'll ship it to you. But Printful doesn't accept payment. I have to have another service with Shopify. So Shopify does the payment, Printful does the printing and shipping, and Etsy does the selling. Now you can do everything in Shopify, which is where I'm leaning because I want everything in one place. But look at how it's all split up. And so when you first start out, sometimes you think that's the better way because, oh, this is cheaper, or, but really, and most of the time it is kind of cheaper because you might, I just did Etsy for a long time. I didn't need these other things. But once you start needing other things, you just want it in one. I want it in one place. But, really be smart about how much you're spending until you see that there's a need. So even on the Elite MP, right? All those MPs, they always call and they say, how do I know when I need to hire help? My friends, please listen to that podcast, at least 50 episodes, so that when you get on there and you ask questions, they've already been answered. But when you're about 4 to 6 weeks booked out, that's a good time that you probably need some help, right? And so just like in this business that we're running by ourselves, right? Like I said, I'm booked out. My calendar is booked out for February. I've already been trying to find a different calendar system, but that certainly, it's also, so, I was trying to do it for reasons like, for growth and easier processes for me and my executive assistant. But this sign that, oh, you're booked out is also just like a really good sign for me to like, okay, what you're offering people want, right? And so once you get a sign like, okay, you're going to see like, okay, I think it's time to add on something else to better reach my customer, streamline my processes, reduce duplicate tasks. And so when that time comes, you might really benefit from something like a social curator, which is this all-in-one platform for organizing, scheduling, auto posting, unlimited posts. This is going to help get you your life back, get you your time back. And so if you have a little extra cash, pour it into that. And don't sweat about the fee and say, okay, this costs, what was it, $5.99 a year? Well, come up with an offer that is $5.99. As soon as you make that one offer, you've gotten your money back. Are you going to stop there? No, you're going to keep making offers. So now all of a sudden that $5.99 is actually underpriced, right? That's how that's the kind of mind shift I want you to have. It's like, okay, if I'm going to spend $2,000 on this, what's a $2,000 offer I can create and get that money back like that? As opposed to saying, then there's two ways you can go about it. You can go the Walmart way, like let's say 10,000 sales for an item that's $20, but think about how much work it might take to sell 10,000 items versus 2 items for the same price, for the same endpoint. So think about that. Yeah, and she's just telling you some other ways she can help. I'm so excited. So help you take your business to the next level. She has everything ready, templates, everything. And then community. That's the main thing. That's the first thing I noticed when I started doing business coaching. So when you first go and do it, you think, oh, I'm going to have access to Jasmine, and you will have some access. And let's just look, photos. Of course, she was a photographer. She's going to help you nail some beautiful photos. I hope you guys see a difference in my photos. And another upsell. Look, another opportunity to bonus, right? Say things like bonus, discount, or look at valued, right? Um, let's take Hobby Lobby, for instance, right? They always have the 35% sale. If you have that sale all year, that's your price. It's not a sale, but someone goes in there once or twice a year, they think they're really, it's consumer psychology. They think they're getting a deal, so they spend more money, but the price is always $45. Okay. So you can see some of that here on this website, but still beautifully laid out, right? Gets to the point. Look at the font. There's a whole thing about dark font on a white background. It's easier to see on the eye. And then again, here's the opportunity to make and look, it's always at the top, join now. Same thing when you start your practice, your website, on every page, they should be able to schedule an appointment with you. Testimonials, real people, real photos, don't over edit them. People can tell, right? Excuse me. And look how she waited to the end to tell you about herself. This is the same thing when you make your social media content. I used to do the same thing. And I see all my peers still doing it. They think the most important thing about them is their name and what they do for a living. Just like we learn in nursing, patients don't care about what you know until they know that you care. And so at the end, now she tells you who she is, right? It's all about telling that patient, that client, what they're going to get out of it. And look, she's breaking down that fee. She's telling you, look, this really would value $30,000, everything I'm offering for you. So when you see that, and then it's like, oh, it's only $599. Oh, that's a steal. That's a deal, right? So that's Jasmine. And yeah, so let's come back over here. Stop sharing. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about, so you're not going to see the rest of the screen. I'm just going to talk to you about what I can access. And so I wanted to tell you what the SaaS company is too. I thought I wrote it down. I did write it down, but now I can't find it. And then you know what I realized? I'm not going to do a third episode. Oh, here we go. SaaS. Okay. So SaaS company is a business that provides software to customers over the internet through a subscription model. SaaS stands for software as a service. So that's what we just looked at her website. Dottie, who's kind of like that digital social media management tool. So what Jasmine figured out, what I've learned really quickly, even from all you NP entrepreneurs, is what you don't want to do or don't have time to do because you're doing so many other things because you don't have a team yet, you don't have the capital yet, or it's early in your business, you're still working full time. There's a million reasons why it can't be done. And I mean, if you're going to have a business that grows, these are the kind of things you're going to need anyway. And so she created everything in that one place for people because you can have 2 tiers. So you're going to offer someone social media. It's consulting. You got a call for an hour. This is what you need to do. Next tier could be, okay, I have this ebook for you, $50. You do everything yourself. Next tier could be like, oh, we can come and get you started. A lot of people help you get you started, set you up. But then it's like, oh, I really need someone to manage this. Check the emails, check the comments. And so what Jasmine came up with was the whole thing, right? The whole thing right there from her own experience and the questions she was getting. So how it works, SaaS companies create, maintain, and update software and databases. Customers pay a subscription fee to access that software, and they can access the software from any device with an internet connection. SaaS companies provide services to businesses or consumers. They offer tools for communication, collaboration, customer relations management, and more. companies can provide data analytics and reporting. You know what else CRM is really important for? So let's say someone signs up for your company, your webinar, like Farah, right? She has that webinar. Well, that email, where do you want it to go? You want it to be added on to your whole email distribution list. So every time you send one email, it goes to the whole list automatically gets added, automatically gets sent with that message, because you can take that for granted. Otherwise, you're typing in every single email, or you're going manually and updating your contacts list. CRM, one way it works is to put it all in one place, and making sure you don't miss anybody. And so SaaS companies can also provide data analytics and reporting tools. Everyone's doing that. Sales, and then examples, Salesforce. I know a lot about Salesforce because it's always a recommended investment stock. Slack is a popular one. A lot of groups use that to communicate, like Teams. Domo. Oh, Netflix is an example where subscribers to a monthly plan. So what do you know? Okay. So I'm going to go over to the website and tell you what I can access. And so and so let me tell you. So I've watched Jasmine. She talked about it on her YouTube channel, and she'd been talking about this biggest launch ever. And I would always go to the description box and I couldn't see the link. And I even messaged her and said, I hear you talking about this, but I don't see where it's at. And then maybe like the next week I saw an ad on Instagram, maybe was like the first thing I saw. And so I clicked on it and I saw she had a webinar coming up. I went to the webinar, shared it with all my friends, and she did a 1-hour webinar. I think it looked pre-recorded, but only she would be able to say that. And then, of course, so she was telling us what would be included in it. She told her own story, gave testimonials, and then gave the pitch to be part of the biggest launch ever, and explain what you would get out of that. And then, of course, creating some urgency. You only have such and such time before it closes. And she had already been talking about it for months. She's really big into, one of the things she does is, I think it's like 11 weeks. Like, she likes to promote something before it's available, so that when it is available, I think for like 2 weeks, her and her team go hard, and then that's it. And so she has like a framework that she talks about all the time on her YouTube channel, where she also batch content creates, and she talks about that, and which I think is brilliant. So anyway, I found out, I was listening to that, saw the ad, went to the webinar. I knew this year, I told you guys I was going to be doing some more coaching, and so I was going to do some more coaching, and I was going to do this like YouTube one, and then I got an invitation from LinkedIn to be part of like some upcoming sessions on how to make your video pop for free. So then I thought, oh, well, I should just do that. It's free. That's the smart thing to do the free stuff first, then go pay. Then when I saw this, I just was like, that's what I need to do. That's the next level, right? So I need to be at the next level where I can execute. And I've been out here getting my life settled. I'm finally settled. I can finally do that. And I think I have all the tools in place. I have the community. I've told you my calendar is booked. I have the business plan. I have the vision and putting the team together. For me, this is just, it's perfect timing. In January, I told you on the blog, God revealed that this was my ministry, and all month long, it's just been more confirmation of that. And everything I'm doing is what I've already been doing in my adult life for the last 20 years. And you don't need to start from scratch. You're already an expert in something. You're already an expert. And then so that's the first day of the month, God told me that. On the last day of the month, so after the webinar, you have the opportunity to book a call with an alumni. I book the call. As soon as I book it, I see the person who I'm going to have this 30-minute conversation with, where I can just hear about their experience and ask whatever questions I have. Brilliant, right? Get other people to do your pitching. I've talked about this with DMPs of Color, how brilliant Daniel McCamey is Dr. Daniel McCamey, when it comes to branding, how she has member-only orientation. Why are you preaching to the choir? Because that's a warm lead. You have already won them over. And so using your alumni, right? They already sing your praises. That's a live testimonial, right? Just like you put on social media, people's videos and stuff. How much better is this, that one-on-one interaction? Okay. So the lady's face comes up. a Black woman looks like me, right? We get on the call. This Black woman who looks like me lives here in Texas. Okay, so I tell her, okay, that's interesting. I was like, did they do this on purpose? She's like, oh no, it's random. And I told her, look, we know nothing's random. Not only is she a Black woman that looks like me that's here in Texas, her name is Blessing. On the last day of the month that God was talking to me about this, I come across a lady named Blessing. So I signed up. And so a couple things Jasmine did really well, right? Create some urgency, create these additional touch points for you to, for her to make the sale. And then if you booked at a certain time, she was going to ship you a notebook, right? So I never told you before, but that class I've been talking about for months is Derm Boot Camp with Dr. Boswell. And one of the things he does after you purchase that course, you get an email and you have the opportunity to purchase his notes, right? For another price, an upsell, right? And so business idea. So you create your webinar, your courses, and someone else, they just like writing. Someone like me, right? I'm just into writing. I just like to create things and products. I say, hey, look, all my NP entrepreneur friends, if you're going to do these in-person trainings and you have people that are going to learn from you, put together some notes real quick and I'll sell them for you, right? Maybe we'll make some kind of deal where I get a cut and you get a cut. You refer people to me, I give you a referral code, I give you a little percentage off, and you don't have to worry about this. You continue to do what you love, which is, injections and cosmetics, right? So many ways you can be in this business and not be on social media, right? But how are you going to find that NP though? How's she going to know you exist? So you got to think about that, right? You can't be everywhere. But anyway, very simple. It's black and white. Don't overthink it, right? And so Jasmine does the same thing. She sends this book that has notes in it, right? Another opportunity to incentivize you booking sooner, right? Because every minute that goes by, decreases your chance that you're going to get your sale. So when I open up the course, which is called the Social Curator Academy, there's her picture. I see all the modules. It's 40. What is it? I think it's 41 modules. 41 lessons, 4 hours, 57 minutes. And then I have access to the day one, module one. And then week one, well, it hasn't opened yet. There's a way where I can see my track record. I have access to the community. So that's what I was saying earlier. So you have someone, the big person who's bringing you into the program. This is who brought you in. But you're only going to have like so much access to that person, right? And once it's over, you're really not going to have that much access to them. Now I get lifetime access to this, which is wonderful. But the best thing about these coaching opportunities, especially when it's like group coaching, is the community. You're really not going to survive without a community. I promise you. Not only because of the motivation, the fact that you can't come up with ideas by yourself, you got to be able to grow. And so I think I've been talking to you all about that a lot lately because that's just been like a big revelation. And so it's like, who else benefits from me being in existence? We need to keep each other going. And so this community is wonderful. And so far, people are sharing their experience, asking questions. And so that's what I see so far. And so, yeah. And so on this same page, another thing I thought she did so brilliant. So she already has all the dates for all the courses, and she has a link where you can click on this link and it will automatically add all the dates to your calendar. Like she really has thought of all the little tiny details to make sure that you get your money's worth and that you remember that to sign. One less, I told you, always try to take away all the decisions for someone to help them say yes. And something I was going to say. The little details. Anyway, I don't remember. Maybe it'll come back to me later. Add it to your calendar. Anyway, I just thought it was really smart and I really appreciate that. And so I can see that, so right now it's about the welcoming, navigating the course, roadmap, accountability rules, the offer lab. Okay, so some of these components of this program. She sells separately, but here we're going to get the whole thing. So in the offer lab, it's going to help you come up with that irresistible offer. Some people are coming in, they have no idea what they want to do, maybe like you, but they know they want to do something. Now I already have the ideas. I just want to pick the one that's irresistible and focus on that. So that's where the offer lab is going to help me a lot. And then in week 1 through 4, successful launch, designing. I can't see all the text, but it's like designing. There's a Q&A session, writing, lots more creating, executing. We love that. And yeah, then there's automations and tutorials. So ConvertKit. So shout out to Jasmine. This is what I was talking to you last week about how you can offer your value to that provider or practice and set up partnerships. So she reached out to ConvertKit one day. She tells a story too on her show, on her YouTube channel, how she reached out to them to partner and filled. She was their customer and she filled it. She noticed a gap that they didn't have and she pitched herself. And so now they have a partnership. So in this course, when she talks, she talks about ConvertKit, which is now called Kit. So it's not random that she's talking about Kit. She benefits from that, but you can't knock her, right? It gets more money in her pocket. And so it's like, yeah, she's not the only one out here doing business coaching, but how can she separate herself from the pack? And this is one way you can do that. Same thing with if you're trying to get a job, how can you separate yourself from the other providers who are trying to do the same thing? So anyway, we'll learn about email automation, master class in Zoom, customize your Canva masterclass, set up replay page, member up introductions, suggested resources, email list mastery with Amy Porterfield. I think I talked to you guys about Amy Porterfield before. She also has done an interview with, okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. She's already done an interview with Jasmine. Look, they're friends, right? They're friends in real life. They both have their own platform. Amy has her own podcast too. Really great, phenomenal information. I think she had over 200 episodes over there. And so you can think it's just random that she just has Amy on. No, she's helping Amy stay in business. That's what I'm talking about. You have to figure out who can help you stay in business. That's it. It's that simple, right? How to write launch copy with someone else, mastering your camera, beginner ad setup for advanced, I can't see, your short-term revenue toolkit. Welcome to the offer creation lab, identifying your profitable digital offer, outlining your profitable, I don't know what else is, I just see profitable digital. So identifying, outlining, and setting it up, and bonus, your next steps. I'm so excited for this. So I've done about 3 or 4 of the 5-day coaching last year. This time last year, a random decision like last year. And it's so great to just get you off your bum and moving forward. And so I definitely recommend it. And then I'm going to open up the community. But once you get to a certain point, and I think it's a great way to dip your foot in and start moving. But after that, when you get to a certain point, you're gonna need more than that. And every first question is only the first question. So let's say week 1 is your first question. You do this coaching with this person. You're always gonna need more questions. You're always gonna need more help. So if someone helps you get started, that's their service to you. Once you get ready to expand your practice, you're gonna need more help. When you get ready to hire help, manage employees, retain employees, you're gonna need additional help. When you get ready to expand your practice in terms of locations or services, again, you're on another level where you require additional help. And so these investments actually end up being a wonderful investment for you. And it will happen if you're consistent and persistent. So right now I just see people asking questions and getting feedback. And then the social curator. So this says, hi, Kimberly, I'm Dottie. As your social media marketing manager, which I'm thrilled to see those words there, I'm ready to create scroll stopping posts that sound just like you. Let's get started. And so this now it's going to ask me a bunch of questions. So next time you see me, I'll be able to give you an update on that, which I'm pretty sure just it's kind of like AI, right? It might be an AI tool. But I'm just so excited to go to the next level. And what I'm really excited about, how this information, I'll be able to share it with so many people in my family, my friends, and all my MP entrepreneur friends, and those of you who run organizations, just to help take you to the next level. That's what I'm really looking forward to. And so let's see, is there anything? Oh, time went by so fast. And yeah, so I think that gives you a nice little overlook on the program, why I'm doing it, the benefits that you can get out of it. And just let me know if you have any questions about that. Please go watch Jasmine. I mean, I've talked about before how I've struggled to get mentorship of a certain caliber, and she's it. I really resonate with her style, and so I really appreciate what she's doing, what she's offering. And for some of you, I think you'll like her style. She's actually a friend of Gary Vee too. And so all these people I'm telling you about, the reason I know them because they're talking about each other, they're keeping themselves in the algorithm, they show up on each other's platforms, they're keeping themselves in business. So the example on how to do it, they're doing it, they're showing you. And I'm hoping to do the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. And so all the links are below to visit the Mahogany Dermatology shop. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. It shows the algorithm that this information is important so that when people like you look for content like this, I'll show up higher in their search results. When people are on Facebook and LinkedIn asking how they can get their first job in dermatology, please tell them about my resources. I've created these resources exactly to answer that question. I'll see you here every Sunday on YouTube. And I drop the video at usually like 12:15 Central Time. And yeah, if you're in DMV area or Atlanta, you can join DMV Dermatology and PPA group or Dermapees and PAs of Atlanta. Shout out to Allie. She's there sharing her on our Instagram and Facebook a little bit. She's sharing her journey through NP school as well as in her dermatology NP externship. And then Caleb and Derek are still holding it down for me in Virginia. And yeah, we'll see you in Louisville in March for Diversity in Dermatology. And I went through last week all the conferences I'll be at this year. And yeah, I think that's it. Before I sign off, let me just check my little list because I always forget something. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, two things on the Mahogany Dermatology blog. You can see my essential textbook, my recommendations for essential textbook in dermatology for skin of color, and 17 dermatology fellowship and training programs for NPs. Those are your questions, right? Here you can get the playlist on how to get your first job in dermatology. In the Mahogany Dermatology shop, you can get that starter kit, the NP starter kit, or the From Bedside to Dermatology step-by-step guide. That's your question. Or you can go over to the blog and find out all the different training programs that are available to you and all the textbooks you should have it readily available. I thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.